Ryan Christopher had always been drawn to the vastness and mysteries of the ocean. As a seasoned sailor and marine biologist, he felt most alive when navigating the open waters, charting courses through the open expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Yet even with his knowledge of the sea, he is aware that even the most experienced seafarers could find themselves at the mercy of the ocean's wrath. The ocean stretched out endlessly around Ryan as he sailed across the vast expanse of the Pacific, his boat slicing through the waves with practiced ease. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a golden hue over the water and reflecting off the surface. As Ryan continued his solo voyage, he gradually ventured further from the safety of the shore. Initially drawn to the ocean's vast wonders, he began to feel a growing sense of unease. Nevertheless, Ryan persisted, driven by his curiosity and determination to confront his fears. Then, on a particular day, the calm waters and clear skies were interrupted by distant thunder. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, transforming the peaceful scene into something more ominous. With a quickening pulse, Ryan recognized the approaching storm's potential danger. With lightning flashing across the sky and thunder echoing like a warning bell, Ryan scrambled to secure everything on deck. He battened down the hatches, double-checking knots and lashing down loose equipment as the first gusts of wind began to whip through the air. But despite his best efforts, the storm proved relentless, its fury escalating with each passing moment. Waves rose like towering behemoths, crashing against the hull with bone-rattling force. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at the sails and threatening to capsize the boat with every gust. Ryan clung desperately to the wheel, his knuckles white with exertion as he fought to keep the boat on course. But it was a losing battle, the sheer force of the storm overwhelming his efforts with its unrelenting power. And then, with a deafening roar, disaster struck. A massive wave taller than any Ryan had ever seen. The boat was lifted high into the air, then sent crashing down with bone-jarring force, the impact reverberating through the hull. Ryan was thrown from the deck, his body tumbling through the air before crashing into the churning sea below. Salt water stung his eyes and burned his throat as he fought to surface, the waves threatening to drag him down into their dark depths. When he finally broke free, gasping for air, Ryan found himself surrounded by debris from the broken parts of the boat. The boat lay shattered and broken, its once proud mast snapped like a twig, and its hull was battered and bruised by the relentless assault of wind and waves. But even as Ryan clung to the wreckage, struggling to stay afloat amidst the turmoil, he felt a new sense of danger looming beneath the surface. A dark shape glided through the water below, its sleek form cutting through the waves like a knife through butter. It was a 15-foot hammerhead shark, an apex predator known for its size, strength, and ferocity. Ryan's blood ran cold as he watched the shark circle closer, its peculiar eyes unmistakable amidst the raging waters. He knew he was in grave danger, stranded in the open sea with nothing but his wits and a few pieces of flotsam to protect him. The shark circled closer, drawn by the scent of blood and the promise of an easy meal. Ryan's heart pounded in his chest as he watched its dorsal fin slice through the water, a silent harbinger of death. Desperate to fend off the shark, Ryan searched the wreckage for anything he could use as a weapon. His hands closed around a jagged piece of metal, torn from the hull by the force of the storm. It was crude and makeshift, but it was all he had. As the shark circled closer, Ryan lunged forward, brandishing the makeshift weapon like a spear. But the shark was undeterred, its movements sleek and sinuous as it closed in for the kill. With a sudden burst of speed, the shark lunged forward, its jaws gaping wide. Ryan swung the makeshift spear with all his strength, aiming for the shark's gaping maw. The metal tore through flesh and bone, making the shark recoil in pain. But it was not enough to deter the relentless predator, which continued its assault with renewed ferocity. Blood stained the water as the shark's teeth sank into Ryan's flesh, tearing through muscle and sinew. He screamed in agony as the pain washed over him in waves, threatening to engulf him in its relentless grip. But Ryan refused to give up. With every ounce of strength he possessed, he fought back against the shark, using every weapon at his disposal to fend off the relentless onslaught. Minutes turned into hours as the battle raged on, each moment a struggle for survival against the relentless jaws of death. But Ryan refused to surrender to despair. clinging to the fragile hope of survival. In a final, desperate act of defiance, Ryan summoned the last of his strength and thrust the makeshift spear into the shark's eye. The creature thrashed in agony, its primal instincts overridden by searing pain. With a final triumphant cry, Ryan watched as the shark retreated into the depths, its blood mingling with his own in the water. He had won the battle, but the war raged on, his fate hanging in the balance as he clung to the wreckage of his shattered boat. Summoning every ounce of strength he had left, Ryan rummaged through the floating debris, looking for his survival kit. And there it was, floating amidst the wreckage, the bright orange bag of salvation. Ryan dashed towards it and checked its content. There he saw a bunch of flares. Ryan instantly took the flare gun and aimed it towards the sky. He closed his eyes, half praying that the flare would not falter, that it would shoot a signal towards the sky. With all his survival hopes hinged on this contraption, he fired the signal into the sky, praying for a passing ship to see it. A bright flare shot out. But Ryan knew it was not a guarantee that anyone would see it. So he went back to the floating wreckage and laid on his back, exhausted and almost out of energy. He looked at the night sky. The stars looked beautiful. He smiled, knowing that this might be the last time that he would see the night sky. He was starting to lose hope. He closed his eyes, tears welling up, and just when he thought all hope was lost, a cargo ship appeared on the horizon, drawn by the beacon of his distress signal. As the ship's crew pulled him aboard, Ryan felt a wave of relief wash over him. His fight for survival against the hammerhead shark had tested his limits and pushed him to the brink of despair. But in the end, he emerged victorious, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the indomitable will to survive in the face of unimaginable adversity. The sea wasn't just Liam Taylor's job, it was in his blood. Saltwater ran thicker than ambition in his veins. He wasn't some adrenaline junkie seeking cheap thrills. It was the raw power of the sea that drew him, the constant, unpredictable dance between man and nature. Born and raised on the rugged Tasmanian coast, he'd fought riptides as a boy and wrestled fishing nets as a teenager. The U.S. Coast Guard had been a natural progression, and the Search and Rescue Division was his calling. Liam wasn't built for comfort. His wiry frame hid muscles honed by endless hours battling currents, not barbells. The relentless wind had weathered his face, carving lines around his eyes that spoke of countless battles won, and a few close calls he preferred not to dwell on. Some missions haunted him on sleepless nights, but those were the ones that fueled him, reminding him why he put on that uniform each morning. This stormy afternoon, November 12, 2009, was a reminder writ large. The distress call crackled over the chopper's radio, a garbled mix of panic and static barely cutting through the storm's howl. A group of reckless kids, no doubt high on hormones and a false sense of invincibility, had taken a battered dinghy out, miles past common sense and into the churning maw of the storm. Now they clung like terrified insects to a wave-battered rock, the ocean playing with them before delivering the final crushing blow. Liam knew the drill. Suit up, check his gear twice, banter with his crew to mask the underlying tension. He'd danced this dance countless times. The ocean, his stage, desperate people, his audience, and him, the unlikely hero trying to cheat nature's ruthless game. The chopper descended, the world becoming a swirling mix of gray and angry blue. He'd faced sharks before, drawn by panicked thrashing and the scent of blood in the water. Most of the time it was tense but manageable. But out here in this storm-tossed wilderness, surrounded by vulnerable prey, a knot of fear tightened in his gut. It was the fear he'd harness, turn into the razor-sharp focus that kept him alive. Below, the teens were specks against the unforgiving rock, each breaking wave a death sentence waiting to happen. Time wasn't a luxury they had. It was his turn to step into the chaos and bring them back one by one. He promised himself with every mission, leave no one behind. Today that promise tasted like salt and steel, with a hint of something darker lurking just beneath the surface. Liam worked methodically. His voice was a lifeline for the terrified teens, a mix of calm commands and fierce encouragement cutting through the storm's roar. He clipped them into the harness one by one, giving them a brief reassuring nod before signaling for the winch. Each ascent brought hope, each empty return of the basket a twist of tension in his gut. Below, the great white grew bolder. Its passes were closer now, its gaze fixed on the frantic activity above. Liam knew it was a matter of time. He was the interloper, the challenge to the predator's dominion. The teens were nearly transparent, just one more terrified boy clinging to the rock, his eyes wide with terror. He shouted out to the boy, but his approach spooked the shark. It surged upwards, a torpedo of muscle and teeth, its massive jaws stretched wide, a gaping maw from a nightmare. Time, he seemed to freeze. Liam acted on instinct, shoving the teen roughly aside just as the shark struck. Pain exploded in his leg. The world turned red. He thrashed, the water erupting around him in a frenzy of foam and blood. The shark twisted, frustrated, its teeth still snagged on his wetsuit. Its prehistoric eye locked with his, cold and unyielding. Through the haze of shock and pain, his training kicked in. Don't panic. Signal. Fight back. He jabbed his rescue knife towards the shark's flank, desperately attempting to dislodge it. From above, he heard shouts, the whine of the winch reaching a frantic pitch. The shark released its grip with a sickening twist, retreating momentarily into the bloody depths. Strong hands were hauling him upwards, the pain secondary to the rush of icy air hitting his face. Breathless and disoriented, he clung to the basket, staring up at the faces of his crew, a blur of concern and grim determination against the swirling gray backdrop. On the chopper deck, it was controlled chaos. Rough hands cut away his wetsuit, revealing the ragged wound across his calf. Blood pumped in a sickening rhythm with his frantic heartbeat. A medic pressed a gauze to the wound, but it was futile, a desperate attempt to stem a crimson tide. Through the haze, he caught a glimpse of the last of the teens being pulled in, shock etched on his young face. They were safe. In that blurry, pain-filled moment, the sacrifice felt worth it. The chopper changed course, cutting through the storm like an angry blade toward the promise of help. Yet he knew the journey was far from over. His vision tunneled, the world fading to the throb of his mangled leg, the distant chop of the rotor blades, and a sense of impending darkness. He'd faced the ocean's fury, the predator from the depths. It had taken a piece of him, a bloody toll, for his unwavering commitment to saving lives. The battle wasn't just against the elements or the relentless pain. As exhaustion washed over him, a tide more potent than the raging sea below, he knew the next fight would be on land. There would be surgeries, rehab frustration, and the prehistoric predator's lingering ghost lurking in his nightmares. The scars he carried would be both a burden and a badge of honor. It was the price of being a Coast Guard rescue swimmer, a price he'd willingly pay repeatedly because in those moments when lives hung by a thread, he was their only lifeline. It was the summer of 2018 in a small coastal town in the United States. Every year, this charming town hosts a beloved flying fish festival that holds a special place in the hearts of locals. Surprisingly, it has gained global fame, attracting people from all corners of the world who share a passion for such unique festivals. The event has become a celebrated and honored occasion for enthusiasts worldwide, adding a touch of magic to the town's traditions. Crowds would gather to witness these fish leaping out of the water, their shining skins resembling stars emerging from the ocean, painting a magical display in the sky. However, little did they realize that this year's festival would take an unexpected turn. As the sun set, Jake, a nature enthusiast who finds joy in experiencing events uniquely, decided to add his twist to enjoying the Flying Fish Festival. Arranging for a more cozy approach, he hopped into his kayak, gently paddling towards where the fish usually appeared. After a few peaceful minutes, he found himself near the magical sight of the flying fish. The sea was typically calm and friendly, but this night held a surprise. The flying fish gracefully danced in the air, their sparkling scales catching the glimmer of the setting sun. It was like a performance on nature's stage, a show that brought joy and peacefulness to the onlooking audience gathered for the annual festival. The townsfolk cheered, enchanted by the beautiful display revealed in the evening sky. These flying fish were the show's stars, their leaps and spins creating a mesmerizing theatrical dance. The festival was a time of celebration when the entire town came together to witness the magical event. Families, friends, and even curious strangers joined to experience the eye-catching performance that painted the sky elegantly. Little did anyone know an unexpected visitor lurked beneath the water's surface. a shadowy figure moved silently, drawn to the performance above. The joyous celebration in the air accidentally invited a disturbance that would turn the festival into an unforgettable and unexpected story. As the flying fish continued their flying display, leaping through the air, the sunset light and the boat focus lights worked as a stage light in this lively event, for the viewer to see the fish star dance in a different style as they were coming out from the water one after another, a natural, calculated performance, making everyone cheer. But unfortunately, under the water, an enormous shadow moved. A massive shark was drawn to the excitement above the surface. The unseen visitor approached, sensing an opportunity in the festivity. What was meant to be an evening of peacefulness and joy was about to take a chilling turn, with the unexpected intruder ready to make its presence known in a way that no one could have expected. In the dark, the shark suddenly leaped, targeting the flying fish. In the confusion, it accidentally crashed into Jake's kayak. The joyful moment turned into a shocking nightmare. No one expected this to happen. In nature, anything can occur, and when you're out there, the only option is to accept what nature presents. The kayak wobbled like jelly after the massive impact of the beast. Jake was momentarily frozen in a terrifying situation, trying to understand what was happening. At that moment, Jake's entire life flashed before his eyes. Facing a deadly creature like a shark, you can expect the unexpected, and Jake was doing whatever instinct told him in that shocking state. After the collision, the shark circled back towards Jake, curious and intensely focused. He was too close for comfort and within the shark's striking range. The predator eyed Jake as if he were prey, locking onto him. In this dangerous situation, one wrong move could lead to a brutal attack, and in such a state, survival chances seemed close to zero. Panic spread among onlookers as they witnessed the unbelievable scene progressing. Sadly, all they could do was watch or close their eyes, left to hope for Jake's life and offer their prayers. Terrified but determined, Jake paddled with all his might, desperately aiming for the safety of the shore. The persistent shark continued its pursuit, creating a tense and suspenseful moment in the moonlit water. Onlookers at the shore rushed to aid, but Jack's fate rested on his ability to paddle swiftly towards safety. The outcome hung in the balance, and the crowd could only watch and hope for Jake's success in reaching the shore. At a crucial moment, emergency services arrived just as Jake skillfully dodged the shark with the unexpected help of the flying fish distraction. Though shaken, he found safety with the assistance of the people on the shore. They made enough noise and showed the beast that it would face trouble if it ventured too close to Jake, a smart strategy that worked effectively. After this encounter, the shark lost interest in Jake and retreated, disappearing into the sea. The town, filled with joy during the Flying Fish Festival, now felt an uneasy tension lingering in the air. The town couldn't shake off the strange incident in the following days. Once a happy tradition, the festival now had a shadow of fear. People were grateful that Jake survived, but the memory of that night stayed. Over the years, the town continued its Flying Fish Festival, but the memory of the kayaker and the leaping shark stayed with them. The celebration persisted, but the sea became a reminder of the mysterious and sometimes scary things hidden beneath the waves. The town's perception of the once enchanting sea changed forever, as the lesson always taught by Mother Nature was that it can be unpredictable. In the chilly waters of Gansby, South Africa, known as the Great White Shark Capital of the World, Dr. Anna Richardson prepared for a day that would mark a significant milestone in her career as a marine biologist. Her focus was on the intricate behavior patterns of great white sharks, and today's dive was to observe them up close to the safety of a shark cage. With keen eyes and a spirit undeterred by the dangers of the deep, Anna had spent years studying these majestic predators. Her work aimed to debunk myths surrounding sharks and to promote their conservation. The dive operation she joined was renowned for its commitment to safety and respect for marine life, making it the perfect partner for her research. As the boat reached the dive site, the crew began their preparations, lowering the sturdy cage into the water. Clad in her wetsuit and equipped with underwater cameras and sensors, Anna reviewed her checklist one last time. Her heart raced with anticipation from the prospect of coming face to face with the sharks and the opportunity to contribute valuable insights to marine science. The crew briefed her on the safety protocols, emphasizing the strength and reliability of the cage. The cage bars were made from high-grade steel, designed to withstand a great white shark's powerful jaws and brute strength. Anna nodded, her confidence bolstered by the crew's professionalism and the robustness of the cage. As the cage was secured, Anna descended into the water, the cold ocean enveloping her. Below, the underwater world was a murky expanse, visibility limited but sufficient for her purposes. She could make out the shadows of the marine life that called these waters home, and her anticipation grew. The first few minutes were calm, the only sounds being her breathing and the distant hum of the boat's engine. Anna's eyes adjusted to the dim light, and she began to observe the smaller fish that darted curiously around the cage. Suddenly, a shadow loomed in the distance, its size and shape unmistakable. A great white shark, its mottled gray skin, approached with a grace that belied its fearsome reputation. Anna's breath caught in her throat as she reached for her camera, her hands steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The shark circled the cage, its eyes seemingly fixated on Anna. She remained still, capturing every detail, from the gills pulsing with each movement to the scars that adorned its skin, each a silent testament to its life in the ocean's depths. As she focused on her work, another shadow appeared, larger and more menacing than the first. This shark, drawn by the commotion or perhaps by curiosity, moved with a purpose that sent a chill down Anna's spine. As the second great white shark approached, its size became more apparent, dwarfing the first shark that had initially captured Anna's attention. Its movements were deliberate, each flick of its tail propelling it closer to the cage with an unsettling focus. Anna's heart raced, her previous excitement tinged with a hint of apprehension. She steadied her camera, determined to document every moment, even as the situation grew tense. The shark circled the cage, its massive body casting shadows that danced across the steel bars in Anna's face. It seemed to be studying her, its dark eyes peering into the cage with a curious intelligence. Anna, a seasoned marine biologist, knew that sharks were often more curious than aggressive, but the proximity of this apex predator tested her resolve. The shark accelerated without warning. Its powerful body slammed against the cage. The impact was jarring, sending a shockwave through the structure. Anna stumbled but kept her footing, her hands gripping the bars tightly. The cage groaned under the strain, the sound of metal bending a stark reminder of the power these creatures possessed. The crew above, alerted by the commotion, sprang into action. Shouts echoed down to Anna, their urgent tones muffled by the water. The winch whirred to life, slowly raising the cage, but the undeterred shark struck again. This time, one of the bars bent inward, creating a gap that sent a surge of panic through Anna's veins. She pressed herself against the far side of the cage, her mind racing for solutions. The shark's aggressive behavior was unlike anything she had encountered in her research. It was a stark reminder of the unpredictability of the natural world, even for those who devoted their lives to understanding it. As the cage continued its ascent, Anna's fear was replaced by adrenaline. She realized that her experience, terrifying as it was, offered invaluable insight into shark behavior. Her camera, still in her hands, captured every second, the footage a testament to the raw power of nature. With mere inches to spare, the cage broke the surface, the crew pulling Anna to the boat's safety. Her relief was palpable, her breathing heavy as she recounted the encounter. The crew listened in awe, their expressions a mix of relief and disbelief. Back on shore, Anna's story spread quickly, her footage captivating everyone from fellow scientists to casual observers. It sparked discussions about shark conservation, the ethics of cage diving, and the need to respect the boundaries between humans and wildlife. Anna's encounter became a pivotal moment in her career. It reinforced her commitment to marine conservation, her respect for the creatures she studied deepening in a way she had never anticipated. While harrowing, the attack underscored the importance of coexisting with nature, acknowledging its beauty and dangers. As she shared her experience with the world, Anna's respect for the great whites of Gansbai and all marine life became a central theme in her work. Her story was a powerful reminder of the ocean's mysteries, the need for continued research, and the importance of protecting these magnificent creatures and their habitat for future generations. Under Isla Azul's setting sun, Ben Reynolds prepared for an adventure. Standing on the shore, the ocean's vastness stretched before him. While he stood there adjusting his diving gear, he felt the anticipation that accompanied the thrill of diving in the depths along the Pacific coastline. The boat, with a scent of salt and sea, bobbed in calm waters. Crew chatter, clinking gear, and the hum of anticipation filled the deck. Ben's colleagues and support system shared the thrill of diving into the cold embrace of the ocean. Seagull calls echoed, marking the departure of the ship. Ben's fingers traced his camera, lost in thought of what lay ahead. The boat's engines roared, slicing through the ocean. The journey had begun, excitement surging with the promise of the adventure. The boat anchored at the chosen site as Ben donned his wetsuit. The snug embrace of neoprene felt like a shield against the harsh elements of the sea. His diving mask fogged momentarily as he adjusted it over his face. With a final check of his equipment, Ben stood at the edge of the boat, ready to take the plunge. A splash echoed as Ben descended into the cool embrace of the ocean. The transition from air to water was a baptism of sorts, marking the beginning of communion with a world both familiar and alien. The sea greeted him with a concoction of amazing sights and sounds: the gentle sway of seaweed, the intricate dance of darting fish, and the timeless rhythm of the ocean currents. As he descended further into the depths, the sunlight filtered through the water, creating a mesmerizing play of dappled rays. Ben's camera clicked, capturing every moment. The coral swaying in a silent dance, schools of fish moving with synchronized grace, and the ever-shifting palette of colors of different undersea creatures. However, amidst this underwater paradise, a subtle unease began to coil in the pit of Ben's stomach. An awareness tinged with caution surfaced, a primal instinct that warned of an unseen presence in the hidden depths. He glanced over his shoulder, his eyes scanning the undulating blue canvas for any sign of danger. And then it happened. As Ben continued to capture the beauty around him, his camera clicked, echoing like a hymn to the ocean, and a shadow emerged from the depths. Silent and stealthy, it materialized a dark form that sliced through the water with predatory grace. The shadow revealed itself, a tiger shark, its majestic stripes a stark contrast against the ocean. Panic surged through Ben as the reality of the situation dawned on him. Despite the predatory nature of these creatures, Ben knew that they were not mindless killers. They were essential to the reef's health. Survival instincts kicked in as he kicked hard, swimming away from the circling predators. The sharks closed in, their sharp teeth inches from his flippers. Amid the chase, Ben spotted a narrow crevice in the coral, a potential escape route. The risks were evident: one wrong move, and he could find himself trapped. Yet survival prevailed over hesitation as he navigated through the coral labyrinth while the shark stayed in relentless pursuit. The shark's movements were driven by primal hunger, each pass bringing them nearer to their elusive target. Teeth scraped against the coral, leaving behind deep gouges and torn flesh. The water, once a clear canvas of beauty, became clouded with the metallic scent of blood. Ben's body bore the gruesome marks of the predator's relentless assault. The serrated teeth had left deep gouges in his flesh, the wetsuit offering little protection against the shark's brutal attempts to prey. Inside the narrow crevice, Ben, battered and bruised, felt the primal force of the predators. The confined space accentuated the brutality of their attacks, the serrated teeth leaving deep wounds in his flesh. Blood clouded the water around him, a stark contrast to the vibrant colors of the coral. Exhausted and with oxygen dwindling, Ben waited while hoping against hope for the sharks to lose interest. As the sharks circled the area around Ben's location, he lessened his movements to blend with the surroundings. He made his breathing slow and deliberate to conserve his dwindling oxygen supply. He knew that outrunning these apex predators was a futile attempt, so he held his breath. He bid his time and hoped for the best. As the sharks gradually lost interest and swam away, Ben cautiously emerged from the crevice. He swam upward, breaking the surface, gasping for air. The feeling of fresh air flooding his desperate lungs felt surreal. Ben fumbled for his whistle, and with all his might he blew hard to alert his boat. The people on the boat heard the distress signal and immediately sprang into action. Tracing the source of the sound, they saw Ben bobbing up and down as he floated on the surface, surrounded by crimson. Panic ensued as the crew rushed to Ben's aid. It was a frantic attempt to save their friend and colleague. One of the crew jumped into the water and immediately tied a rope around Ben's body. Back on the boat, a battered Ben reflected on the gruesome details of the attack. His body bore the scars of the struggle, a horrific reminder of the price one pays for daring to explore the unforgiving depths. His report, now more than a scientific account, became a narrative etched with the harsh realities of survival beneath the waves. The memory of the horrific encounter would forever linger in his mind, a vivid reminder of the brutality of the ocean. Yet even as he gazed back at the ocean, Ben understood that survival wasn't just about escaping predators. It was about preserving the delicate balance that sustained life. The white sand beaches and turquoise waters of Bora Bora shimmered like a dream, a postcard paradise plucked from an artist's imagination. It was the perfect backdrop for the beginning of Noah and Elise Fournier's new life together. Fresh from a whirlwind wedding celebration in their bustling hometown of Seattle, they'd escaped to this South Pacific oasis for the honeymoon of their dreams. Noah, with his tall, athletic build and an easy smile that crinkled at the corners of his deep blue eyes, was a man born for the sea. A competitive swimmer in college, he now had a high-stress investment banking job. The ocean was his sanctuary, the place where he felt most alive. Elise was his perfect counterpoint, a petite whirlwind of energy with her infectious laugh and bright green eyes. An aspiring writer, she approached the world with wide-eyed curiosity, her adventurous spirit tempered by a touch of trepidation when it came to open water. This morning, June 12, 2006, held a promise of adventure as they excitedly donned their snorkeling gear. The lagoon beckoned, a shimmering expanse of clear water promising vibrant coral gardens and glimpses of tropical fish. Still mastering her strokes, Elise stayed closer to shore while Noah ventured further out with the effortless grace of a natural swimmer. He'd wave occasionally, his muscular form disappearing into the deeper blues where the reef sloped away, a comforting presence even amidst her slight unease. Bull sharks were a known part of the local ecosystem, their blunt snouts and powerful bodies sometimes spotted patrolling deeper waters. However, in these shallow, crystal-clear lagoons, they were a rare sight. Predators by nature were adaptable and followed the food sources, sometimes leading them into unexpected territories. And occasionally they made mistakes. The first hours were idyllic. Elise squealed in delight at spotting a clownfish nestled in an anemone, her fear of the deep fading with each discovery. With Noah as her anchor, she grew bolder, venturing further out. The water was a warm embrace, the mask offering a portal into a breathtaking world of iridescent fish darting among coral formations, painted in colors she'd never imagined. Lost in her wonder, she didn't notice the subtle shift in the water beneath her, a shadow sliding along the reef's edge. The bull shark was young and inexperienced, and its hunting instincts were triggered by the splashing movements and the flash of Elise's pale skin. Hunger mixed with a surge of predatory curiosity overrode caution. Yet even the shark was unprepared for what followed. The explosion of adrenaline it received and the taste of neoprene instead of flesh as its jaws closed around Elise's leg. For Elise, the world tilted. The water around her turned an impossible red, pain lancing through her. Panic flooded her, a primal scream trapped beneath the water's surface as the shark thrashed, confused and disoriented. Then a substantial force clamped around her arm and she was being pulled, the pressure on her leg excruciating. Noah had seen the change in the water, the flicker of shadow. His heart turned to ice. He knew that form instantly. Elise was oblivious, too far away, too focused on the wonders beneath her. He swam with every ounce of strength, his mind a single desperate command: reach her. Realizing its mistake, the shark released Elise but thrashed nearby, a dangerous, wounded presence. Noah reached her, his voice a harsh shout over the roar of his blood in his ears. He shouted to Elise to grab on him with urgency. Elise gripped his shoulders, her eyes wide with terror. Blood swirled around them, attracting more danger with each passing second. Working together, they half swam, half dragged themselves towards the pale blur of the shore. Each stroke was agony for Elise, the waves slapping her raw wound. Noah's strength was faltering. The shore was tantalizingly close but seemed to drift further with every kick. The water churned beside them, a chilling reminder of the predator lurking just out of sight. Then something miraculous, voices yelling, the splash of a boat. Local fishermen, drawn by the commotion, were reaching for them. Elise's trembling subsided on the rough wood of the boat, replaced by waves of nausea and the growing numbness in her leg. Noah refused to leave her side, whispering words of love and fierce promises that she would live. The shore blurred and the pain dimmed. She slipped in and out of consciousness, the world reduced to his voice and the steady slap of waves against the boat. Recovery was an ordeal. Surgeries, the phantom pain, and the nightmares that stole what little sleep she got. Noah was her unwavering rock, putting his life on hold to care for her. Back home, away from the turquoise paradise, he became her advocate. They channeled the trauma, campaigning for stricter safety protocols in tourist locations and for funding research that could help prevent such attacks. Their marriage was forged not only in love but in the shared trauma of the lagoon. The scars on Elise's leg were a constant reminder, but so was the knowledge that they'd faced the unimaginable and survived. The bull shark had almost stolen their future, but it had given them a shared purpose. Their honeymoon became a catalyst, their ordeal a testament to resilience, and their voices a force for change in the fragile balance between humans and the wild world of the sea. In 2010, Dr. Emily, a marine scientist from England, ventured into the vast North Atlantic Ocean for a nighttime exploration. Her goal was to uncover the secrets of glowing sea creatures. Little did she know this journey would lead her to a surprising encounter with a deep-sea shark, bringing unexpected challenges and tension. As she sailed through the chilling winds and darkness of the North Atlantic, Dr. Emily's quest to understand the ocean's luminous mysteries became even more captivating. Before Dr. Emily set out on her adventure in the North Atlantic in 2010, her journey in science began in a small town by the coast in England. Growing up, she was always fascinated by the ocean and spent much time exploring the shores, collecting seashells, and marveling at tide pools. Dr. Emily excelled in marine biology at Oxford, paving the way for a research career. From coastal explorations to the North Atlantic expedition, her journey was marked by curiosity and dedication. She searches the ocean's mysteries in a small underwater vehicle, guided by her love for sea life. The ocean got quieter as Dr. Emily went deeper, and the submarine's lights struggled against the growing darkness. The deep sea turned into a silent world, and Dr. Emily felt alone with only the submarine's hum around her. It was like the ocean had a new feeling, mysterious and unknown. In this silent place, Dr. Emily noticed the tiny glow in the dark. As her eyes adjusted, she saw bioluminescent creatures lighting up the water. They were like underwater stars, making the ocean look magical. The once dark ocean floor now showed a lot of life, with each tiny creature adding to the beauty of the underwater world. Dr. Emily felt excitement and wonder as she explored this hidden part of the ocean. While enjoying the beauty of these glowing creatures, Dr. Emily continued her descent. The ocean became a living painting, displaying its secrets through the glow of bioluminescence. Dr. Emily, fascinated by what she saw, felt a solid connection to the wonders hidden in the deep sea. However, amid this beauty, Dr. Emily didn't notice an unexpected visitor approaching: the deep-sea shark. Unseen in the dark, it circled the submarine with a silent grace, blending into the mysterious depths. The calm exploration was about to turn into an exciting chapter, with a deep-sea shark adding a thrilling element to Dr. Emily's journey into the mysteries of the North Atlantic. In the calm, deep waters of the North Atlantic, Dr. Emily noticed a rare glowing event, a sight that could be a significant discovery. When she focused her instruments on the bright display, a shadow came from the depths, covering the glow of the creatures. The deep-sea shark, a quiet hunter, appeared like a ghost in the deep. Dr. Emily was at first amazed by the rare sight of the deep-sea shark, but soon things got serious. The deep-sea shark, a strong predator used to the dark depths, circled her small submarine intensely, making her feel scared. The steady hum of her vehicle sounded weird as the silent predator got closer. The encounter, which started with wonder, now felt more intense and problematic, as the deep-sea shark continued its silent dance around the submarine in the depths of the North Atlantic. Tension filled the underwater world as Dr. Emily found herself in an unexpected dance with a creature that lived in the shadows of marine science. The once beautiful creature of the deep sea now seemed dark, showing it could be a wonder and a danger. Dr. Emily felt admiration and anxiety in this mysterious ocean dance, her scientific curiosity blending with a touch of fear. The deep-sea shark, once a mesmerizing display, now added an element of uncertainty to the exploration, creating a tale that made an impression with both the beauty and risks beneath the waves. Drilled with curiosity yet a little frightened, Dr. Emily closely watched the shark. The delicate mix of her interest and fear echoed in the softly lit waters. With eyes reflecting an ancient instinct, the deep-sea predator appeared to assess the intruder in its underwater domain. In this quiet underwater territory, the scientist's cautious observation unfolded as a silent ballet, where the mysterious predator and the curious explorer engaged in a complex dance beneath the waves. Feeling the tension rise, Dr. Emily decided to be less noticeable. She made her instruments quieter, and the lights on her vehicle dimmed so she could blend in with the glowing backdrop. The underwater dance continued, a careful interaction between the scientist and the quiet predator. Once filled with fear, the encounter turned into a delicate meeting between two creatures of the deep. Now a silent observer in the dark vastness, Dr. Emily admired the rare deep-sea shark. The predator, seeming satisfied that Dr. Emily wasn't a threat, slowly faded into the shadows. As Dr. Emily's underwater vehicle rose, she felt awe and relief. The unexpected encounter with the deep-sea shark revealed ocean secrets beyond science. The dance of light and shadow, fear and fascination became a memorable story. Returning to the calm surface, Dr. Emily had a newfound respect for deep-sea creatures. The once scientific mystery now held personal meaning, a symbol of the wild beauty under the waves. Forever changed by the deep-sea encounter, Dr. Emily carried the tale of the rare shark into the story of ocean exploration, a whispered story in the language of the depths. In the vibrant city of Cancun, Mexico, known for its crystal-clear waters and thrilling water sports, Ethan Turner, a young and adventurous tourist from Canada, was excited to try parasailing for the first time. The warm, sunny day with a clear blue sky provided the perfect conditions for an unforgettable experience over the Caribbean Sea. Ethan, with his characteristic enthusiasm, listened intently to the safety briefing from the parasailing instructor Carlos. Carlos, a seasoned expert with years of experience, explained the do's and don'ts, ensuring Ethan felt comfortable and secure with the harness and equipment. With a reassuring pat on the back, Carlos signaled the boat captain to start the engine, and soon Ethan was soaring into the air, his parasail billowing brightly against the backdrop of the sun. From his aerial vantage point, Ethan was mesmerized by the panoramic views of Cancun's coastline, the white sandy beaches blending seamlessly into the turquoise waters. The thrill of floating high above, with the wind in his face and the gentle tug of the parasail, was exhilarating. Below him, the water was a tapestry of blues and greens, teeming with life. As Ethan enjoyed his flight, the boat maneuvered through the water, guided by Carlos's experienced hands. The laughter and cheers from other tourists on the boat reached Ethan, adding to the moment's joy. Everything was perfect. An adventure Ethan had dreamed of, a story he couldn't wait to share. However, as the boat took a wide turn, an unexpected gust of wind caught Ethan's parasail, causing a sudden jolt in the line. Ethan's heart raced as he felt himself dropping closer to the water's surface. Carlos and the boat captain worked quickly to stabilize the situation, but before they could regain control, Ethan found himself skimming the water. The touch of the cool water was initially a thrill, an unexpected part of the adventure, until a shadow beneath the surface caught Ethan's eye. A giant shark, attracted by the commotion and the unusual presence in its territory, approached with a speed and precision that belied its size. Panic set in as Ethan realized the danger he was in. The serene beauty of the Caribbean Sea had turned into a suspense scene. Carlos shouted instructions from the boat, trying to reassure Ethan and guide him on what to do. But the fear and the wind made it hard to hear. As the shark drew closer, Ethan's mind raced for solutions. He tried to lift his legs to make himself less accessible, but the dip and sway of the parasail made it difficult to control his movements. The boat crew, realizing the gravity of the situation, frantically worked to reel Ethan in, but the process was slow and every second felt like an eternity. The tension in the air was palpable as Carlos and the boat crew worked with desperate urgency, their efforts focused on pulling Ethan back to safety. The winch whirred loudly, slowly retracting the line, but the shark, a dark silhouette against the sunlit water, continued its ominous circling, its dorsal fin cutting through the surface like a blade. Suspended between sky and sea, Ethan felt a surge of fear, unlike anything he'd ever experienced. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing the ticking of an unseen clock. Below, the shark's movements became more deliberate, as if it was biding its time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. On the boat, the atmosphere was frantic. Carlos shouted encouragement, trying to keep Ethan calm, while the captain pushed the engine to its limit, attempting to create distance between Ethan and the shark. The other tourists, once excited spectators, now watched in stunned silence, their cheers replaced by hushed prayers. As the winch continued its slow work, Ethan dipped closer to the water with each sway of the parasail. The cool spray of the sea brushed against his skin, starkly contrasting the heat of his fear. He knew he had to keep his legs up to make himself as small a target as possible, but fatigue was setting in, making every movement a struggle. Sensing the vulnerability above, the shark made a sudden, swift approach, its sleek body cutting through the water with terrifying speed. Seeing the shark's advance, Ethan braced himself, his mind racing with images of what might come next. But fate intervened in those critical seconds. Just as the shark neared, a wave, more significant than the rest, rose, momentarily blocking its path and disrupting its trajectory. The unexpected barrier gave the boat crew the precious time they needed. With a final Herculean effort, they managed to hoist Ethan out of the shark's reach, pulling him back towards the boat at a pace that defied their earlier struggles. Ethan's relief was overwhelming as he felt himself rising away from the water. His breaths came in ragged gasps, a mixture of fear and gratitude filling his chest as he was finally brought aboard. The crew and his fellow tourists erupted into spontaneous applause, their relief as palpable as his own. Back on the boat with solid ground beneath his feet, Ethan collapsed into the arms of Carlos, who clapped him on the back with a mixture of relief and caution. The captain steered them back to shore, the boat cutting through the water with a newfound urgency, eager to leave the site of the near disaster behind. The incident became the talk of Cancun, a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of adventure sports and the ever-present dangers that lurked beneath the waves. Ethan's story, with its dramatic arc from exhilaration to terror and back to safety, was shared far and wide, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the quick thinking of those who had come to his rescue. As Ethan reflected on his experience, the adrenaline of the moment gave way to a deeper appreciation for life's fragility and the unexpected challenges it presented. His brush with danger in the tropical waters of Cancun would stay with him forever, a narrative of survival that he would carry into every future adventure. A reminder that the line between thrill and threat was as thin as the parasail that had taken him into the sky. In 2012, among the silent waves gently splashing the shores of the lovely coast of Australia, a committed marine researcher named Alex found himself fully sunk in the ocean's mysteries. Conducting complex nighttime studies on the behavior of sharks from the limits of a small boat, he sailed gracefully into the heart of the midnight marine world. The soft glow of the dim moonlight painted a dreamlike and captivating picture on the water's surface as he explored even deeper into the secretive area of sharks. Little did he realize that the calm night held within its folds a disturbing encounter, an unexpected twist that would deeply challenge and reshape his understanding of the vast and refined sea. As the small boat gently tossed in the darkness, Alex gazed intently into the water and watched the sharks closely under the pretty moonlit waves. It's fascinating to observe their behavior. The waves are all lit up by the moon, making it an extraordinary sight. It feels like Alex is discovering a new world under the sea, with the sharks doing their thing in the moon's spotlight. The night air enveloped them, carrying a clear sense of hope. At night, the ocean and humans felt a quiet connection. Gentle waves made a calming sound, revealing some secrets under the moon's glow. In the silent night, The ocean whispered ancient stories with each ripple, and the moon's light made the water look charming. As the night deepened, an abrupt shift in the ocean's temperament broke the serene dialogue. Waves, once gentle and lulling, transformed into turbulent, foaming beasts. Each crest rose higher, more menacing than the last, as if the sea had awakened from a tranquil dream into a restless turmoil. Once cradled by the ocean's calm, the boat was now caught in an unpredictable dance of surging water. Alex, his heart pounding in his chest, grappled desperately for stability. But the relentless sea showed no mercy. A rogue wave, like a creature of the deep, reared up and crashed against the vessel. It snatched Alex from his refuge with a sudden, forceful sweep, casting him into the churning, ink-black abyss below. The night air was pierced by his startled cry, quickly silenced by the roaring waves, as he plunged into the cold, unforgiving depths. In the middle of the moonlit night, the small boat, now left to the mercy of the unpredictable waves, continued its gentle rocking motion. In a state of panic, Alex struggled to regain self-control after sinking into the cold, ink-black depths. The darkness surrounding him seemed almost clear as he wrestled with confusion and the unexpected turn of events. The ghostly silence of the night was broken only by the sounds of distant waves and the occasional creaking of the drifting boat, creating an atmosphere of tense uncertainty. A curious yet risky shark slipped through the deep waters in this creepy spot, alert to even the tiniest shifts. While Alex faced challenges in the cold, deep sea, everything underwater went quiet, witnessing a delicate mix of danger and basic instincts, a fantastic scene unfolding beneath the waves. It was like nature putting on a show. Everyone below the surface was tuned in. As Alex floated in the ocean's embrace, surrounded by the mysterious spin of moonlit waves, the curious shark continued its silent circling below. The moonlight and shadows mixed fascinatingly, creating a strange feeling. It became hard to tell what was real and hidden in the shadows. It felt like there was a mysterious curtain, making us think about the mix of things we see and things hidden away. The cool touch of the water seemed to whisper tales of the ocean's secrets, embracing Alex in its enigmatic narrative. The curious shark, a deep-sea dweller, stayed alert, showing us the cool things hidden beneath the waves. It kept an eye out, letting us see the secrets of the ocean world. The shark was like a guard of the deep, reminding us of the big and incredible world under the water. Every move it made could reveal more about the fantastic stuff happening below the surface. In the big sea at night, Alex felt the cold ocean around him. The moon made waves and the underwater world was full of mysterious sounds. A graceful shark joined Alex's ocean exploration, leaving a lasting impression. Their silent communication showed how humans in the sea are connected, sharing ancient secrets. Every move in this underwater tale reveals the special bond between people and the mysterious ocean. Alex's built-in survival instincts pushed him into action in those prolonged moments that felt like an eternity. He started returning to the small boat floating above with organized and careful movements. First, he reached through his pocket and found his handy flashlight. The beam of a flashlight cut through the all-around darkness, casting a creepy glow on the underwater area and revealing the tricky form of the shark. A chilling realization settled in as beads of cold sweat formed on Alex's head. He was awfully within the shark's reach. In that critical moment, the light helped and connected the deep ocean to the world above. Its appearance in the underwater world changed the dance between man and shark. Surprised by the sudden light, the mysterious creature quickly returned to the shadows, leaving Alex alone in the dark, deep ocean, a mix of nervous feelings and growing relief. Left alone, Alex managed to swim toward the boat after what seemed like an eternity. As Alex carefully climbed back onto the boat, the memories of the encounter hung in the air like a haunting tune, a clear sign of how unpredictable the ocean can be. Now a safe spot, the small boat gently carried Alex away from the mysterious and quiet depths, creating a gripping story of a scary night that mixed the known and unknown in the big, mysterious sea. Above, the night sky sparkled with stars, watching this unique meeting between a person and a sea predator. Moving through the waves, the boat's rhythmic sounds became a calming song, easing the tension from the underwater world just moments ago. The water felt gentler while the small boat kept going, as if nature had acknowledged the shared moment between a curious person and a mysterious sea creature. The encounter became more than just a survival story. It became a dance between what we know and what's still a secret, leaving a lasting mark on exploring the sea. The boat's steady journey to safety showed how people can be challenged in front of the ocean's mysterious wonders. The quiet sound of the engine became a reassuring heartbeat, echoing the relief of those on board. So, under the big night sky, the boat sailed on, carrying the memory of a scary adventure that went beyond what people expected and showed the deep connection between us and the fascinating secrets hidden under the waves. The ocean was Rachel Harris's turf, a vast expanse where she felt both at home and on edge. As a seasoned deep-sea diver and underwater photographer, she lived for the moments when her lens captured the mysterious beauty hidden beneath the waves. Coral formations that swayed with the tide, elusive sea creatures playing hide-and-seek, and the mesmerizing dance of light in the ocean's depths. On this particular day, the sea was calm and serene, its surface reflecting the endless blue sky. It was another day in the office for Rachel. As she descended into the depths of the ocean, her camera gripped firmly in her hand, the rhythmic hum of her breathing the only audible sound in the silent world below. The clicks of her camera echoed like a siren's call into the vastness of the ocean. The descent was gradual, the water growing darker as she descended into the heart of the sea. Rays of sunlight pierced through the surface, creating beautiful patterns that danced on the ocean floor. The first hints of marine life appeared, schools of sardines darting through the water, their scales reflecting the ambient light. As Rachel ventured deeper, the pressure increased, the weight of the ocean pressing against her like an invisible force. The clicks of her camera continued, capturing the evolving underwater landscape. Strange and otherworldly creatures emerged from the shadows, bioluminescent organisms that glowed like tiny stars, their light casting an eerie glow in the deep. As Rachel focused on her work, a shadow materialized from the depths, a 12-foot tiger shark, its distinctive stripes a stark contrast against the azure backdrop. The diver, with her years of experience and knowledge of the deep, knew of these predators' voracious appetite. Rachel knew better than to linger and be considered as prey for a hungry tiger shark, so she slowly backed away and started ascending. But it was already too late to mount an escape. The shark started to react to her movements. It's as if the shark started to recognize her as prey. With frantic energy, Rachel sped her movement toward the surface. Survival became her focus. The shark circled, its movements both graceful and menacing, a silent predator in pursuit. Adrenaline surged through Rachel's veins, her heart pounding in sync with the underwater currents. She recalled her father's words, a childhood mantra etched into her mind. She could almost hear her father's whispers telling her that the ocean favors those who fight for survival. Despite the increasing pressure and depleting oxygen, Rachel raced towards the surface, towards her survival. But the shark closed in, its jaws snapping shut around her, the force crushing the weight of her lead vest against her chest. Pain radiated through her body despite the protection offered by the lead vest, the shark's powerful bite and serrated teeth, threatening to challenge the integrity of her only line of defense. In the darkness, Rachel thrashed and flailed defiantly. Her fingers, cold and trembling, found the shark's eye, a desperate primal act of survival. The predator recoiled as the sea turned crimson as Rachel's wounds bled. The struggle ensued with brutal intensity, blurred vision, stinging wounds, and a relentless push against the crushing pressure. The tiger shark lunged again, teeth grazing her leg. Rachel's survival instinct prevailed. She gouged once more, this time deeper into the shark's gills. The attack on its gills seemed to have more effect on the shark. As it became disoriented, it thrashed in the water even more. Its powerful tail stirred up sediment, creating a swirling cloud of debris. Rachel fought to maintain her bearings as the currents became unpredictable. The relentless assault from the shark continued. Each moment was a test of her strength and resilience. As Rachel grappled with the predator, a surge of panic threatened to overwhelm her. The taste of salt mixed with the metallic tang of blood surrounded her, a reminder of the life and death struggle in which she was ensnared. With each passing second, Rachel's oxygen supply dwindled. The desperate need for air added a layer of urgency to the fight. The shark, relentless in its pursuit, circled back for another attack. Its teeth grazed her shoulder, leaving a trail of torn flesh in their wake. Amidst the ensuing chaos, Rachel's survival instincts kicked into overdrive. Drawing on reserves of strength she never knew she possessed, she summoned the last shreds of energy to fend off the relentless predator. The shark's movements became more erratic, a combination of pain and disorientation affecting its once pristine hunting instincts. Yet Rachel's ordeal was far from over. The crushing pressure of the deep sea pressed against her, threatening to squeeze the life from her battered body. The wounded shark, driven by a mix of instinct and desperation, lunged once more, but it missed the mark. The stroke of luck gave Rachel a chance to escape. The sudden freedom allowed her to propel herself upward, away from the clutches of the wounded predator. As Rachel ascended, the ocean seemed to release its grip, the pressure relenting with each passing meter. The wounded shark, disoriented and battered, retreated into the depths, disappearing into its vast expanse. The swirling sediment settled, revealing the aftermath of the fierce battle. Battered but alive, Rachel emerged from the depths, gasping for breath as the surface of the ocean welcomed her back. As Rachel floated in the open sea, the sunlit surface providing a stark contrast to the dark depths below, the realization of her survival slowly sank in. Her battered body bore the scars of the encounter, a reminder of the fierce struggle against the relentless predator. The coast of Mozambique was known for its pristine beaches and vibrant coral reefs. Yet beneath the turquoise surface lurked a world of forgotten wonders. Dr. Maya Lin was obsessed with those hidden depths, her relentless curiosity propelling her toward groundbreaking discoveries. Today, July 16, 2004, promised a revelation, a glimpse into a world untouched by time. The locals whispered tales of underwater caves near Bazarudo Island, their descriptions tinged with a primal reverence. They claimed the caves harbored a relic of the past, the lair of a shark species believed extinct for millions of years. Maya wasn't one for superstitions, but the geological readings were undeniable. These caves could unlock secrets about the evolution of marine predators. The water shimmered as her team descended. Unlike the vibrant coral reefs surrounding Mozambique, this submerged world was bleak, the volcanic rock creating a labyrinth of shadows. Maya's heart pounded in her chest, a mix of exhilaration and the tickle of the unknown. They were pioneers here, explorers in the truest sense. The cave entrance was narrower than expected, barely large enough for a single diver to pass through. Maya gestured for her team to remain outside. This initial sweep was hers alone. Squeezing through the narrow opening, her powerful dive lights cut through the gloom. The cave walls were strangely smooth, the rock sculpted from eons of unseen currents. A thrill shot through her at the first sign of life. Fossilized remains embedded in the rock, remnants of creatures long dead. They were on the right track. This cave system was a treasure trove of natural history. Then a flicker of movement in the distance caught her eye. Her first thought was of a large fish disturbed by her presence. Yet as the creature turned, revealing its sleek profile, Maya's blood ran cold. It was a shark impossibly large for the confined space and bearing an archaic, flattened head, unlike any species in her extensive database. The creature seemed just as surprised, its eyes glinting in the artificial light. With a surge of both dread and joy, Maya knew the local legends were true. She was staring at a ghost from the prehistoric past, a creature that should not exist in these modern waters. The scientific implications were staggering, but her immediate problem was distinctly more visceral. How to escape a predator that had outlived the dinosaurs within the suffocating confines of an underwater cave. Maya's mind raced. Panic was a luxury she couldn't afford. Retreating wasn't an option. The narrow opening wouldn't allow her and the massive shark to pass. She had to find a way out, hoping against hope that her team was still positioned near the entrance. The shark, seemingly recovering from its initial surprise, started to circle. Its prehistoric eyes tracked her every movement, a calculating intelligence behind the primal instinct. Maya knew it was sizing her up, weighing the risk of attacking this strange creature that had invaded its domain. Suddenly, the water exploded around her. The shark lunged, its massive jaws seeming to fill the entire passageway. Maya reacted instinctively, jamming her dive light into the creature's mouth. The shark thrashed, the light shattering, plunging them both into darkness. Pain lanced through her arm as teeth grazed her skin. She fought mindlessly, kicking and punching at the rough hide. The shark was disoriented, its ancient instincts ill-prepared for this resistance. With a final surge of desperate strength, Maya pushed away, scrambling back towards the entrance. The sudden light blinded her momentarily. Frantically, she signaled, her gestures frantic above the surface. Her team, alerted by the disturbance, reacted with the efficiency of countless drills. A lifeline appeared before her, a thick rope trailing into the depths. Grabbing it, she felt herself being hauled upwards. The world narrowed to the sliver of light above and the monstrous shape surging below her. Her ascent was agonizingly slow. The shark, enraged, snapped at her heels. She screamed, pain exploding in her leg as teeth tore through her wetsuit. Strong hands reached for her, pulling her roughly from the water and into the relative safety of the boat. She collapsed onto the deck, sobs racking her body. Blood swirled around her injured leg, but the worst of the damage seemed superficial. She was alive. Her team worked with swift precision. One bandaged her wounds, another radioed for backup. Their voices were a soothing hum against the roar of adrenaline in her ears. Below the surface, the prehistoric predator lingered, a sentinel at the mouth of the cave. It had claimed its territory, and the price of Maya's groundbreaking discovery was etched in her flesh. The media circus descended, hungry for sensational headlines and grainy footage of the unknown creature. Scientists demanded access, their excitement tinged with a hint of predatory ambition. Maya shut them all out, her mind a storm of conflicting emotions. She'd always believed in pursuing knowledge, but this felt different. The shark, a relic of a bygone era, had survived eons undisturbed. Did she have the right to expose its sanctuary to a world bent on exploitation under the guise of discovery? It took days of difficult conversations, a translator bridging the gap between her world of scientific jargon and their deep-rooted reverence for the natural order. In the end, a compromise was reached. Maya would publish her findings, meticulous data, and observations, but the cave's location would remain a secret. The scientific community would have to content themselves with the knowledge that somewhere, in the hidden depths of the Mozambique coast, an echo of the prehistoric world remained. Maya's injuries healed, but the encounter left a lasting mark. She returned to her expeditions, a newfound caution woven into her inherent boldness. The ocean still held endless mysteries, but she now understood that some secrets were better left undisturbed. In 2015, surrounded by the lively colors of marine life rising near the Maldives, a marine biologist named Sarah dived into the crystal-clear waters for a routine mission of coral reef restoration. The vibrant colors of the coral and the diverse marine life created a mesmerizing underwater paradise. This summer seemed fascinating when you find greenery on the ground everywhere in nature. Birds are flying and singing, just as in the water when you are surrounded by the rich design of a coral reef of the breathtaking coast of the Maldives. Different small fishes more beautiful than the goldfish in your fish tank act as like birds. A devoted marine biologist, Sarah set out on a routine dive to restore the delicate underwater ecosystem. Driven by her deep passion for marine conservation, Sarah dedicated herself to maintaining and nurturing the delicate balance of the underwater ecosystem. Unseen to her, this seemingly routine dive would soon transform into a nerve-wracking encounter, with an unexpected and formidable presence lurking beneath the ocean waves. The crystal-clear sky-blue waters carried a world overflowing with marine life, and Sarah, driven by her passion for marine conservation, gracefully navigated the colorful coral gardens. Ready with the essential tools of her trade, she finally tended to the delicate structures, ensuring the preservation of the diverse marine species that called the reef their home. As Sarah swam through the colorful coral reef off the Maldives, she cared for the underwater garden. She carefully worked to preserve the delicate structures that housed many sea creatures. Tiny bubbles made a soft humming sound around her, and the reef's bright colors created a calm, beautiful scene under the water. While Sarah continued her work, she enjoyed the vibrant display of marine life. The sunlight played on the reef's patterns, casting shadows as the currents flowed. In this underwater paradise, Sarah appreciated the variety of sea life thriving among the underwater garden formations. Her every gentle move helped maintain the balance between the garden and the creatures living there. The underwater world was filled with the soft sounds of marine life, forming a lovely melody that accompanied Sarah's dedicated efforts in coral conservation. Unaware of Sarah, a hidden force touched beneath the calm surface. Disturbed by this unexpected presence, a resting shark awakened, injecting an element of surprise into the routine dive. Sarah sincerely cared for the sensitive coral structures, unaware of the majestic shark's stealthy approach in the crystal-clear waters. The ocean currents swayed the colorful underwater plants gently and flexibly, making a soothing melody with the marine creatures. Little did she know, the calm of this marine paradise was about to be shaken by a strong force hiding in the shadows, ready to mess with the delicate balance underwater. Sarah was taking care of the underwater garden when, without her knowing, a shark woke up beneath the calm water. As she continued working, not realizing it, the shark surprised her, changing the dive into a dramatic event underwater. The once quiet scene in the water was now different and unexpected. Suddenly, the underwater scene exploded with motion, and there it was, a majestic shark slicing through the water with undeniable strength. The once peaceful underwater scene now held an underlying tension as Sarah became aware of the looming shark in the crystal-clear waters. In the ocean's calm, sharks move swiftly, unlike land-dwelling lions or tigers. The peaceful coral reef atmosphere shifted suddenly when a mighty shark emerged, creating an intense underwater encounter for marine biologist Sarah. The once serene scene turned into a dramatic arena, showcasing the unexpected interplay between humans and sharks in the depths. The giant shark, filled with curiosity and confidence, swam gracefully around Sarah, showing it was in charge without making any noise. In situations like these, if you get scared and make quick moves that look like an attack, you're pushing the shark's buttons, which usually doesn't end well. As Sarah and the shark crossed paths in the deep blue, Sarah's heart matched the rhythm of the ocean, creating a simple connection between her and this strong predator in the vast, mysterious world beneath the waves. The silent communication between them, like a quiet show of who's boss, added a surprising twist to the meeting, making the underwater drama even more intense. Sarah should avoid sudden or panicky moves if she wants to stay safe in the underwater area. It's all about staying calm, collected, and composed, allowing the underwater encounter to unfold carefully and thoughtfully. By adopting a measured approach and keeping a level head, she can navigate through the watery environment, ensuring a safe, enjoyable, and memorable experience beneath the sea surface. With a keen awareness that her presence had mistakenly upset the shark's peaceful resting spot, Sarah approached the situation composedly. She carefully evaluated the circumstances, ensuring her actions were empty of sudden movements that could escalate their tension. The underwater encounter continued evolving as a delicate and complex battle, an intense fight beneath the waves that intertwined survival and mutual respect. The careful interaction made the underwater scene more interesting, telling a detailed story of the lively coral reef. As minutes passed underwater, Sarah quietly signaled her dive partner above. This secret communication was like a silent message, revealing the ongoing drama below the ocean's surface. At the same time, the dive partner, paying close attention to signals from below, stayed alert and ready to help if necessary. The teamwork between Sarah and her partner added more excitement to the story, increasing the suspense in the lively underwater scene of the coral reef. Surprisingly, the tension relaxed when the shark gracefully swam back to the ocean floor, realizing no danger was present. The underwater sounds, briefly paused during the encounter, started again, calming the coral reef. As the marine biologist and the shark parted ways peacefully, the colorful coral reef celebrated the harmony returning under the waves. This unexpected ending added a sense of peace to the story, showing the careful understanding between the human observer and the majestic sea creature. As Sarah surfaced, the encounter stayed with her, a reminder of the ocean's unpredictable nature. It's like being at home. Suddenly, a bear breaks in, causing a stir and disrupting the peaceful atmosphere. A quick decision is crucial in such a scenario, like the delicate balance between humans and creatures in the ocean's depths. If you are an alpha male facing a bear in your home, You don't panic. Instead, you handle the situation cautiously, knowing when to assert authority. Similarly, Sarah recognized the importance of maintaining composure in the area of nature's alpha beings. This underwater diplomacy became an unexpected lesson during what began as a routine coral reef restoration dive. Like a vast home with its own rules, the ocean taught Sarah that respect and strength are crucial for harmony beneath the sea. The currents whispered the tale of her encounter, weaving a story of coexistence and understanding in the vibrant tapestry of the ocean depths. It's an exciting story of exploring the unpredictable waters and finding a balance between humans and the fascinating creatures of the deep sea. In this underwater tale, it's not just about the journey. It's about figuring out the ocean's mysteries and connecting with the tempo interplay of two different worlds. The waves gently lapped against the sides of Sophie's research vessel as she prepared for another routine dive near the secluded island of Isla Relampago. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a ghostly glow over the calm waters. Sophie stood in introspection on the side of her crew's research vessel. Sophie Dubois always dreamt of being a marine biologist. It was her childhood dream, and now that she's living her lifelong dream, she stood on the water's edge as she prepared for a dive to tag great white sharks on the Spanish coast. She looked at the ocean's beauty and admired its power and mystery. As she looked over the horizon, she felt the familiar knot in her stomach, the feeling of anticipation that accompanied each descent into the depths of the sea. Her specialized gear, equipped with sensors and cameras, was meticulously calibrated to capture the elusive moments of the ocean's apex predator's behavior. The great white sharks of these waters had become her life's work, and she developed an intimate understanding of their behavior and feeding patterns. The first rays of sunlight illuminated the surface and seemed to dance as the marine biologist submerged herself into the cool embrace of the ocean. As Sophie descended, the water started to engulf her whole being. The calm of the void felt alien from the hustle and bustle of the surface. As Sophie descended even further, the ocean revealed its secrets, and the marine biologist watched as the ocean's beauty spread before her. The vibrant coral reefs and the schools of fish all lay before her, yet her focus was on the shadows lurking in the blue expanse. The great white sharks, the subjects of her studies, as well as both her fears and fascination. Sophie's dive proceeded routinely. Everything went according to her plan until a sudden shift in the water caught her attention. But before she could react, a massive great white shark, measuring about 12 feet in length, appeared from the shadows. At first, the predator started circling the marine biologist slowly but deliberately. Sophie knew better than to turn her back from the predator. She followed the movements of the beast that was circling her as she started ascending towards the surface. Sophie prayed that the beast would lose interest and that it would not consider her a threat or prey. She slowly ascended. But before she was able to breach the surface, the shark's behavior started to become aggressive. Suddenly, the shark surged towards her. In the blink of an eye, Sophie found herself ensnared in the predator's jaw.